Hello, and this week I'm going to explain how to do heavily rusted metal, and this time I will explain how to use the sponge technique together with the two technical paints from Games Workshop. So I will use diffuse corrosion and I will use Riza rust to do the rust effect on this metal piece. This part of Flyer Scenic base is going to be a skimmer one, and I will try to show you how to do here heavily rusted metal. So I will start. I applied a base of lead belcher. That is one of the darkest metals from Games Workshop, and now we are going to apply a wash of diffuse corrosion. You will see I bought, also I want to tell you, I bought some of the new brushes from Games Workshop. I'm testing them, and once I have used them I will try to do in the future to give some feedback of how I'm feeling with these new brushes. So as you can see, I will do just a wash all over the miniature, and I just put the metal as a base, but really I don't want the metal to be to appear. I will try to, especially in this where I did this type of damages, I will apply this all over the place. So we want that this looking rusted. This paint have to be shake very well when you use diffuse corrosion. Have to be shake very well because have some solid particles that is making these irregular surfaces, and it's important that you shake it very well to spread these particles all over the paint, so that it's not that the paint have these particles when you take it with the brush. So yeah, I will apply here the corrosion. The only thing that I will not do is, of course, this type of cable here. I know I dirtied, but because I will paint it later on, it's going to be gold black because we'll represent that it's like a rubber material, and of course will not have the same type of corrosion. So as you can see, I'm doing just a very generous wash on all the miniature, and as it is just a rack part from a Chaos monstrosity, I don't care to be clean, and yeah, I just go dirt and I put it. What we have to be sure is that the coverage is correct. So I see now that the brush is opening, maybe taking too much paint to go fast, but this should be okay. So now we have covered all the part, and we will need to wait until this dry up before doing the next step, because this is like a wash, so we wait until this dry up before doing the next step. So I will be back once this is dry. So this is how it's looking like now that it's dry, and now we are going to apply Riza rust. So I will take a sponge. I will do similar to that. I will break the sponge, as you can see here. Then I will take some with the sponge like that. In that case, because it's a big surface, I will clean a little bit the sponge. Now I will stab the sponge on the miniature. Okay, I laid that in some areas is accumulated. You see, so this will create completely random pattern. Okay, with areas where color is more evident than others. You can hold again, take a little bit more. Prefer to clean it a little bit, not to be too heavy at this moment, and we play until it's like a dry brush with a very cheap brush, because you just take, this is the sponge from a blister. Let me take more. We can also have a paper next to us, this thing, to check how it's looking like. So if it's too much, we clean it. So I was doing this, okay, so I have a paper and then I check. Now we go here. Most likely you will dirt a little bit the stones next to it. I don't think this is... So maybe we will need to redo a little bit the stones. Try to go more heavy here on the nut. You see that it's making this noise, it's because it's really rough, the surface. Okay, we can keep applying that. Pulling a little bit on the paper. We can go here. See, this is too heavy, we can do like that. But I think, yeah, it's not bad for this, for what we want to do here. You can see this here. I apply a lot, but I think it's some areas you can do much, and others you can do less. Remember that I'm looking for a heavily rusted metal. Okay, this is how it's looking like after applying that. And now if we want to make the look that this is all metal and is, so here I will, in some areas if you don't reach well with the sponge, you can take I take some of my very old brushes and I also stab this brush here. So you can also use, this is quite old stiff brush, and just ensuring that I reach areas that I was not able to reach well with the sponge. So see, I'm just stabbing the brush and it's a very old and damaged brush that I'm using. Okay. This part should be quite rusted. You can put we're going to put a little bit more here. And the good is if you apply first the corrosion, the diffuse corrosion is giving a very good surface, and it's making this rough enough that to make also add more randomness to the pattern. Okay. Okay. So this is how it's looking like now, and for my taste it's a little bit too orange. So what I do is I take, we have to clean well this brush first. We are going to apply a wash with Agvax Airshade. So I take again the big brush, Agvax Airshade, and we are going to apply it all over the miniature. This will darken the rust. Will make the texture even more visible. These technical paints from Games Workshop do quite well the job. And yeah, you can wash quite straightforward after applying the Riza color, because it's the Riza Rust, because it's like a dry, and it's as you can see with the wash you will start having more brownish tonalities and will look more like an older rust. So now we'll let it dry, yeah, and this is how we look like heavily rustify. As you can see, once the Agvax Airshade, this is how it's looking like. The last thing that we can do, but is we can put rest of the painting, if there is some rest of what used to be the painting work on this on these parts. I was thinking maybe these parts were red, so I take red paint, okay, and I will go to parts that I think the paint can stick over this weathering, no, or this heavy weathering, because normally it's almost impossible to eliminate completely the paint from a surface. So we can, for example, apply some paint, especially on these corners. There should be some residue of the original paint, so we can make something like that, right? We can make a little bit more here. can be rest of paint on the corners, not in this case. Paint that have not been eliminated or have not been is still a stick in the position. No? For example, here there is a big damage, but we can imagine that there is some paint here. Okay, and some more paint here. You can make, even we can make a little bit of paint here. Imagine that this. Not too much, I just put some. Of course now we need to do a second layer of Agax Earthshade to make this paint look weathered and all. We can put and try to make a regular pattern, as you can see. So I try to put a little bit more here. It's good that this paint is also texturized because it can have some blisters and can be oxide below the paint. So it's not bad that the paint is a little bit blistered and have a little bit of texture. So we add a little bit more here. We can imagine that most of the paint have been take off from have been removed. The other parts I will consider they were metallic. The only thing that we are going to clean while I'm waiting that the paint is completely dry, I'm going to use black to paint these cables here, because I was concerned that this is rubber, so they should not be they should not have oxide or not. Okay, they should not be oxide, so we can paint them. You see, this is also killing the texturize, and then we can do some dry brush on top of this to simulate. So this is like a new black, and once it's dry we are going to do some dry brush. So this is simulating that we have here like a rubber or another material that is not being rusted. You can see the rest of paint is looking good here. We are going to apply again Agax Earthshade in these parts. So we are going to apply another layer of Agax Earthshade on this part of the armor plate. Okay. Now I will use some gray. I know that the black is not completely dry, but it's not. This time we can blend it even a little bit more to break a little bit the uniformity of the black. I'm going to use downstone. We can make some like this. Not really dry brush, it's more making like for any strange reason the cable remain together to the. Okay, so this should be okay. Yeah, and this should be okay for our rack piece of War Machine on the battlefield. So I think, yeah, I will finalize here the tutorial for this week, how to do heavily weathered rack or piece of engine, so heavy weathered metal. So I am using the technical paints from Games Workshop. I hope you find it useful. I hope you like this. So yeah, let's make a close look. So this how will look like once the Agax Earthshade is completely dry. This shiny will disappear. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching this video, and see you again later. Bye.